360 is coming to you from these beautiful fields in the outskirts of Delhi. Now you'd be wondering, why are we in these fields? Well, the reason is this. This is the bajra plant. It comes from the family of millets. Millets, the coarse grains which have been neglected and shunned for so long. The Green Revolution just forgot about millets. They're nutritious. They're laden with good proteins. They can solve the problem of malnourishment. They're good for the environment. They're sustainable to grow. They help in the health of the soil. So why are we not then incorporating millets in our diets like we should, like we must? This week our conversation is about the journey of millets and what India can do to promote millets even further. I'm Sneha Murtani. (2023) is the International Year of Millets. All throughout this year, the Indian government has been pushing for the production and the promotion of millets. And the G20 summit held in Delhi was really no different. Here's how we've been pushing for these miracle grains which are abundantly grown in India.
Nudge people towards millets, it's a completely different thing to go.
Many of the dishes millet-based, in line with Narendra Modi government's big push for millet.
Millets menu out and out.
For all the G21 leaders, where the star ingredient was the Indian millet.
Let's just tell you how the superfood ruled the menus during the whole G20 summit in New Delhi this year. India served millet to world leaders at a gala dinner at the end of the first day of the G20 Leaders Summit in New Delhi. The dinner, hosted by the President Draupadi Murmu, involved 3 courses of vegetarian food that celebrated an autumn season of abundance with different kinds of millet. Among the delicacies were oxtail millet leaf crisps topped with yogurt and spiced chutney, Kerala red rice tossed with millet crisps and curry leaf, and a cardamom-scented barnyard millet pudding with fig. But that was not it. Each hotel hosting a stay to the delegates of G20 had their specific platters planned with millets, only showcasing the incredible flavors of India. Millets are being touted as a healthy alternative to wheat or rice, and the push for it is on. On the insistence of Prime Minister Narendra Modi, the United Nations Food and Agricultural Organization named 2023 as the International Year of Millets.
मैं आज FAO को विशेष धन्यवाद देता हूं कि उसने वर्ष 2023 को इंटरनेशनल ईयर ऑफ मिलेट्स घोषित करके भारत के प्रस्ताव को पूरा समर्थन दिया है.
India made sure that the humble grain gets recognized by global guests. We have more to add in this episode, so let's dive into the world of mighty millets. With Simranjeet Kaur Renu in New Delhi, Bureau Report, India Today.
Millets are called superfoods, and there is a reason why they are called superfoods. They are very nutritious. They are protein heavy. Also, they're very dense. They fill you up easily. Essentially, they can replace rice and wheat. They can solve the problem of malnourishment. Most importantly, these are sustainable crops to grow. They require very little water. They're also good for the health of the soil. Truly, these are miracle greens.
India is on a millet revival mission, and the intention is clear: to bring this powerhouse of nutrients back to our kitchens and beat the perception that these are bland, coarse grains and are a poor man's food. Did you know the staple food of ancient India was millet, not rice? What used to be bland, gluten-free whole grains are now finding their place back onto our plates, and health experts couldn't be more delighted. A low glycemic index makes them an ideal rice substitute, good for cholesterol, diabetes and weight loss.
When we were expecting our daughter, I got gestational diabetes. And I managed the entire diabetes just by eating millet-based food. So we already knew that it was very, very nutritious and it was good for the farmers. It was very helpful in weight loss also. We knew that as well, because even then ragi and bajra and jowar, at least dietitians were talking about it. This was 2013, 14, around that time. But when I ate it too and managed diabetes very easily just by going on a millet-based diet and walking, like these two things I did, that's when we realized how powerful they are, and we realized that we needed to do something very systematically to bring this to the market. 60 to 70% of our country used to be eating millets and gluten-free foods. Wheat was a very small part of what we used to eat. So largely we would eat millets, and in the other coastal regions we would eat a lot of rice. The kind of rice also was very different, fibrous rice, not so polished. So gluten was not a large part of our diet as Indians, so we are not genetically wired to be eating so much gluten. And that is why there's a very strong case for increasing more gluten-free foods in our diet. And millets really fit the bill to the T, because they are high fiber, they are nutritious, and they are gluten-free, and they have traditionally been part of our diets.
There are many types of millets: pearl millet, finger millets, proso millets, little millets, kodo millets and barnyard millets. And all these grains have one thing in common: ample amounts of nutrition. And they're not bland in taste anymore. Millets are now being made into fluffy bread, gooey porridges, hot khichdis, idlis, dosas and even delicious desserts, as the G20 summit clearly proved. What's more, millets are drought-resistant crops and they can grow in adverse climatic conditions. They require less water to grow.
Regions that we are working in, that Rajiv and I work in some of these regions, and his NGO Shodh works with farmers from Andhra Pradesh and also in Bundelkhand in Uttar Pradesh. So these two regions that we are working in, which are dry, where farmers are already facing crop failures because of lack of rains, where the soil is not conducive to growing other things, where there is land that is going fallow because we are not able to grow things there. In those areas, millets are a godsend. Millets are also beneficial for farmers in the sense, in today's context, because of climate change, because of changing temperatures. So millets are the only crops that has been proven that with increase in temperature, the yield does not get impacted.
We are working with farmers in semi-arid and dry region. So what I suggest, where farmers are unable to get even one crop a year, so they can plan it during the Kharif season, and they are going to get good returns. So where water is available, I think millet can be additional crop. Where water is not available easily, there millet can work as a main crop.
Millets offer natural resistance to pests and require less fertilizers, which means they're great for soil health too. In New Delhi, Sneha Murdani for India Today.
One wonders why millets, which truly was our ancestral food, was forgotten by us. In this report, we trace the journey of millets. People consumed it about 75 or about 100 years ago in India, and this was an essential part of their kitchens. What really happened then? Why did then millets vanish from our kitchens? How was the Green Revolution really responsible for the humble millet being shunned?
For the longest time, millets were a crucial part of our diet until it went out of our lives. The Green Revolution, beginning in the 1960s, changed the landscape for agriculture in India and permeated into the national diet. Farmers rapidly adopted high-yielding wheat and rice varieties. that required irrigation, fertilizer, and other inputs. Reasons of dipping popularity of millets were many. Change in consumer taste, preference, lack of traditional knowledge to prepare millets-based recipes, and low shelf life of millet grains. Government schemes mainstreamed wheat and rice, and so did we. A recent report by Niti Aayog speaks about how millets fell out of our plates. It spoke about weak value chain in production and processing of millets, lack of industrial demand for value-added millet products, discouraging farmers from cultivating millets, low profitability and low research and development to improve production, yield and value addition of millet products. Once considered a low-status food, recent recognition of climate resilience and healthy benefits from millets has prompted a millet revival. With Sneha Mordani in New Delhi, Bureau Report, India Today.
Well, millets are not just ordinary bland, coarse grains that we think they are. In fact, they're widely used in a variety of food items nowadays. They're used in porridges, ragi cookies, even desserts, pasta, noodles. A variety of products are now found in the market made of millets. And that's the reason why our next report is going to focus solely on the business of millets in India.
Catching up with the new health fad, many big FMCG firms such as Nestle, Britannia and Hindustan Unilever are launching new millet-based products to stay abreast of competition in order to both not be left behind and to also capture a bigger share of the $2 billion global market, which is expected to grow to $14 billion in the next 5 years. Seeing the value of the burgeoning market, the industry is working overtime to bring products such as the obvious flour to the creative millet-based chocolate nutrition drink with breads, biscuits, oats, noodles, chips and cereals in the middle.
Millets can substitute everything what we are eating these days. We have tried millet kadhi as well. We have replaced besan with one of the millets, which is proso millet. We have created a lot of jobs, local jobs in and around that millet value chain. Many primary processors have come up and they are buying from farmers directly, and then they are selling it to the market.
A study by Yes Bank finds that India has the potential to export millet and millet-based value-added products worth $2 billion by 2030. That's the opportunity players don't want to miss. India is already ahead of most nations when it comes to millets production and produces 40% of the global output and 80% of Asia's production. What about the demand?
There is a growing demand perception in millets, because of which the millets rates have gone up. Right now the uptake is more novelty driven, uptake is more by people who are looking at healthier option. If we need to see mass wave of millet happening, we need to have uptake happening in the bottom of the pyramid.
Millets clearly have all it takes to make it the right choice as the food of the future. With Dhruv Yadav, Bureau Report, India Today.
We're discussing everything about mighty millets. From the green lush millets farm, we're now entering chef's kitchen to bring millets on our plates. Thank you so much for your time, and so good to see you in person. We've just seen so much of you during the G20 summit.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, and welcome to the Bombay Club.
Thank you. Thank you.
I have something really exciting planned for you. Come.
Thank you so much for time. You're showing us something using millets. What is it?
So, super excited to share a recipe that is a staple at home. I'm going to be creating a millet salad with leftovers. Literally, I'm going to call it a goodness salad. It's got lots of protein. I've also used some kidney beans or rajma, which is, available in all Indian households. Pyaz, tomato, mint, coriander, just very, very simple ingredients. I've got some masala peanuts, which we all like to snack on, but it's such a delicious thing to add. But first, let me tell you about the goodness of the grain that we're using. So we're using these millets. This is a foxtail millet. It is something that is widely available and grown in the northern part of India. And हम ना कभी कभार इसको व्रत के टाइम पे भी खा चुके हैं. Like barnyard millet is another type of millet, which is known as samak ke chawal, which is used during Navratras. So a lot of these millets are 99%. They're all gluten-free. So they're very, very healthy for you. This is a cooked grain. तो ये मैंने already soak करके I've already boiled it. And this is the raw grain. So if you see the grain over here, you'll see that they're very, very small. The important part when you're cooking with this is to make sure you wash it at least 3 times. And most importantly, soak it for at least 30 minutes, which leads to like easier digestion. So let's get into making the salad. So first things first, I'm going to take the boiled foxtail millet. And as you can see, it's got a very nice texture, almost like quinoa or any other grain. You know, not just creating boring recipes, but creating something that we would actually eat. So I'm just adding the cooked rajma, and then I'm adding all these little ingredients. I've got some apple because I always like adding some fruit into a salad. I feel it balances out a salad. So any salad that you're making at home, try adding some fruit. It adds a little bit of crunch. So when you're building a salad, you want lots of flavors, lots of textures, and the best part about the salad is that it's easy to carry in your tiffin boxes. But I'm just teaching you an easy recipe to actually start getting you guys to eat millets. I'm going to be plating it for you and me so that we can enjoy the salad. So I'm just going to take half the avocado and put it at the bottom. So I'm just going to mash it. Do you want to mash this?
Yeah, sure.
Just add a little bit of salt.
Thank you.
And you don't want it to discolor, so you want to add a little bit of lemon juice. And now what we're going to do is, we'll just toss up the salad with the dressing that I have made here. So we've got a lemon vinaigrette. It's just lemon juice, olive oil, salt and pepper. So we'll be adding this. And we don't have to add very little because the millets actually soak up a lot of flavor. So any millets that you're using, whenever you're adding any flavor to it, make sure that you're adding loads of flavor because it is a carrier of flavor. So it will, you know, take on that flavor. So I'm just adding a little bit of green chili. I hope you like your salad a little spicy because it'll add some kick. The apples are sweet. So we want to balance it out. Some salt, some pepper, and a good squeeze of lemon. So with the green chili, the apples really work. You know, everything gets balanced out.
And it's not spicy at all. So.
Really? I did get some green chili.
Yeah, it's fine though. I think it tastes really good.
Okay, good. This is going to be your lunch. I like adding some beans or chickpeas into this salad because it adds that extra layer of protein. So I like adding a little bit of fresh coriander, and we're going to add some mint, just a little bit of the peanuts for that extra crunch, and some microgreens on top. Lastly, some beautiful color. An easy recipe, and I do hope you enjoy it.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
And I hope you guys enjoy it.
So thank you, Anahita. Finally, we have the goodness salad ready, and it was very simple to do, and it's a beautiful looking salad.
Yes.
Thank you so much. I can't wait to try it, but at the same time, what I want to ask you is this. There's been so much conversation about millets and how we should be incorporating it in our diets. A lot of people ask me this. First of all, that how can we do it in a regular dal, chawal, sabzi, ghar ka khana, roti, tiffin,
Absolutely.
breakfast. Like I for one like eggs for breakfast. So how do I incorporate millets in my breakfast?
So the most important thing about millets is that there's not one millet. It's an entire family. There are 9 different types of millet. Just to name a few, you have, finger millet, proso millet, kodo, little, obviously sorghum, bajra, jwar. All of these come under the millet family. And each millet comes with its own nutritional, benefits and qualities. But the best part is that they're all gluten-free and they use a lot lesser amount of water when they're grown. So they're actually good for the climate, for the planet, for the farmer, and for all of us because they're extremely healthy and nutritious. So I think सबके दिमाग में यही है कि millets पकाएं कैसे या how do we use it in our daily diets. The important thing is buy it from a reliable source, get it from places where the millets are clean, and then wash it at least 3 times. उससे क्या होता है कि millets में जो bitterness होती है वो चली जाती है. So wash it 3 times and then soak it for at least half an hour for better. All types of millets, especially the bigger millets like jowar and bajra, they need a lot more soaking time because you want to easily digest.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Chai and your kokum drink is here. So if you're using a basic simple millet, just use it instead of rice.
Yes.
So a foxtail, what we've used, or a brown top, or a kodo, or a proso, these are perfect millets to be added as an accompaniment to a rajma or a curry or a dal, which can be eaten like a rice, and it's gluten-free.
Yeah, exactly. I was coming to that. It's gluten-free and also very good for people who enjoy their rice, but say have diabetes and have to deal with that as well, isn't it?
Yes. So I think it's very easy. For me, it's very versatile. On my Instagram page, you will find numerous recipes where I've replaced rice or wheat, anything, and added, millets. I think the responsibility of the chef today is to be creative with this grain. International Year of the Millet hai. So we have to start using this grain in different ways to give people ideas.
I've seen a lot of products using millets, like pasta, noodles, papad. Again, how tasty are these? Because I haven't tried these, and this really is a time when you can't keep a lot of these things away from your kids.
So honestly, I always have like some kind of a millet khakra in my dabba for a quick snack, and you'll always find interesting ways of using it. जो दिमाग में ये होता है ना कि वो bitter होगा या खराब होगा या earthy flavor आता है, bland होता है. That's not the case because you're only looking at grains which you've probably eaten in your childhood and you don't have good memories with those recipes. कि मम्मी ने खिला दिया था और force कर दिया था, वो अच्छा नहीं था. But today what you can make, like I make the softest ragi rotis at home. Of course, there is some amount of atta and there is some amount of ragi, but it's almost like a 75-25 ratio. So you're eating a lot more ragi, which is very healthy for you because it has 3 times the amount of calcium that milk does. So, it's something that I would recommend people to kind of introduce slowly into that diet.
Yes, also because you need to also develop a taste for it, right? So
taste plus know how to cook the grain. That's important.
I wanted to know from you, a lot has been said about sustainability, and that's why you saw the push even during the G20 summit for these millets. For a country like ours where the crops are really dependent on the monsoons, the rains, millets require less water plus pesticides.
Right.
That's the reason why it's good for the soil as well.
Right. So, like I told you, there's an entire ecosystem.
Yes.
And this is a grain which is actually good for the climate because it's adding back those nutrients into the soil. They're good for the farmer because the farmers are able to also cultivate different crops at the same time. Plus, after each batch, there's certain nutrients that have gone back to the soil. So the farmer is happy with his, crop. And the most important part is that it's healthy for you and me. इतने सालों से वो सब भूल गए थे कि अच्छा millets हैं,
this was an ancestral food,
and it is an ancient grain which has grown in India for so many years.
Yes. Lastly, before we conclude, salad is still not over. We're going to finish it after this interview. I
really want to dig in.
I know, me too. But lastly, I just want to ask you which really is your favorite millet dish, since we saw just so much of you all of last week making just so many dishes. What is it that you love?
So honestly, I'm not going to choose one thing, but there are these delicious jowar chocolate brownies, which are my favorite. It's a secret recipe, which I'm not going to give anyone because I'm opening a restaurant soon, and it's going to be part of that.
Okay,
so as soon as it opens, I'm going to send you a picture and you can come and try it.
Sure. Thank you for joining us, and thank you so much for your time, and congratulations.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Well, that also, in fact, brings us to the end of this edition of Health 360. You can watch the show on India Today's website, that's indiatoday.in. On all of India Today's social media platforms as YouTube, Instagram, Facebook and Twitter, you can catch many such stories. Until next time, thank you so much for watching. Bye for now.